All right, welcome to the press conference. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Lots to talk about, as there always is with the University of Missouri. So we're going to start with, I'm just going to run through a couple of topics that the president and the chair might wish to address. The first topic is the creation and naming of the MER Working Group, and I'm going to ask Chair Graves to address that topic.
All right. The MER Research Reactor Project is a long-term project of the university and a priority of the board. It started several years ago to come to fruition. It will last for several more years, and we've created a working group with 2 members of the Board of Curators, chaired by Curator Luchtmeyer and several members of the MER staff and industry partners and national experts on nuclear reactors, and to oversee that project. That project's primarily directed for the university at research, which we want to continue to build on our world-class status as a research institution. It also has a big component of building the Missouri economy. There are going to be many opportunities and offshoots of jobs and high-tech jobs in the mid-Missouri area that will result from that. And finally, and for some of us most important, it will build the capacity in the United States to fight cancers, and we're the only place in the country that provides those critical components for drugs to fight cancer. So that's why we've created a working group that will have a long-term oversight of that project.
President Choi, you have any additional comments on that topic?
Just to emphasize how important this project is, not only for saving and improving lives in Missouri, but for economic development. Our goal is to create an epicenter in the United States of nuclear medicine right in Columbia, Missouri, to serve Missourians, but also patients all across the country. We're very excited.
All right, President Trump, we're going to stay with you for the next topic. As you know, Curators have approved a budget for fiscal 26. We've had very strong support from our governor, our General Assembly. So, President Trump, what would you like to talk about?
So this is the 6th straight year of increase in our state appropriation. As I discussed in the public session, there are many states that are not doing well in terms of their support for public higher education. But Missouri has made a commitment beginning about 6 years ago to improve the funding for the University of Missouri and other public universities because of the importance of our role as an economic engine, as well as institutions that provide avenues for discovery that create more economic development. So we're very pleased. We're very grateful to Governor Kehoe and members of the elected leaders in both the House and the Senate, and we hope that this level of funding continues.
Thank you. Chair Graves, anything to add?
Nothing to add.
All right. Well, Chair Graves, I'm going to let you kick this next one off. Another exciting development is the approval of the Energy Innovation Center on the Mizzou campus. Chair Graves.
And this fits with the theme we've had for the last several years, and certainly with the Research Reactor Project. The Energy Innovation Center is targeted primarily at enhancing the research capabilities of our university. It will have interdisciplinary faculty participating together from physics, engineering, chemistry, and various other sciences. Second sort of note of this project, it will enhance our engineering undergraduate experience, I believe, and help us to grow that important program on the MU campus. And finally, again, like the reactor, it's targeted at energy innovation, something that we'd like to create additional jobs and economic opportunity, and certainly energy will be a challenge for the next many years in this country and in the state, and so that's what we're focused on.
So the areas of focus for this building is going to be on small modular nuclear research reactors, as well as advanced delivery of electricity for growing needs in AI and data centers. And our approach is not going to just use engineering and science innovation, but tying that into policy. This past year, the University of Missouri entered into an agreement to develop a rural energy policy center together with the Missouri Farm Bureau. So not only the energy innovations are going to be very important at the university, but useful and practical policies that govern energy use in the state and also in the United States.
All right, Chair Graves, the board awarded some very special awards of recognition honoring Remington Williams students at all 4 campuses were involved. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, Remington Williams was a student curator. The members of the board were very fond of him. He was an optimistic, hopeful guy. Unfortunately, he was killed a few years ago by a drunk driver in a tragic accident. And we decided to create an award. The Board of Curators itself did not give awards to students, and we created an award where we award they get a medal and a scholarship, or they get a little bit of a stipend, but it's mainly the honor. And we announced those award winners today. This is maybe our 3rd year of announcing that, and we consider that one of the highest honors at the university for undergraduate students. So we're very proud of those individuals. We have bios if anyone would like that information.
For sure. If anyone didn't receive a release on that or any other topics, just track me down. I'm happy to make sure that you have that. All right, the final topic before questions, I would like to note that UMKC has for years addressed both medical and dental needs, taken major steps to do both. Right here in Buchanan County, or if we're not quite in Buchanan County, close to Buchanan County, north of Kansas City, obviously, and really in rural Missouri. So, President Choi, I'd like you to sort of address some of the exciting developments there.
So I'll give the high-level highlights, but as was discussed in the public session, St. Joseph is a very important community in Missouri, and we want to do whatever is possible from the University of Missouri system to support the economic, educational, and healthcare needs of this region. And I want to applaud Chancellor Molly Agrawal and his team for making that investment. It's exciting that we've had our first graduates of the 4-year medical school at this campus in St. Joseph. The goal is to expand that to 20 students per year, and in addition, to bring the dental program as well as dental hygiene program. But I'd like to ask if Chancellor Agrawal would like to add a few comments as well.
Yeah, so this has been a very, very exciting endeavor for us. St. Joseph, as the President said, is a very important part of the community here in the northwestern part. We want to make sure that the University of Missouri system as well as UMKC serves the needs of the people here. And establishing this medical school satellite here a few years ago, that has been such a positive experience for us. The people in this community, from the elected officials to the business leaders, civic leaders, health professionals, have welcomed the program with open arms. And I wish every collaboration for us would go like this. This is a template for how these collaborations can work. So we want to continue serving this community by bringing the dental school satellite here as well as dental hygiene. So the rural communities, not just in St. Joseph, but the surrounding areas are served as well.
Thank you, Chancellor. All right, now it's time to start taking your questions, and I would like to start with, I know of at least one reporter who is on the telephone here, Madison, from KMIZ. Madison, would you like to ask a question? We'll go around and do one question each, if that's okay, and then if there are any others, we can take them as they come. Go ahead, Madison.
Great, thanks. So the documents show that DM system is planning for what looks like a big loss in federal funding. How will that be made up?
So currently, we have about $20 to $25 million in research projects that have been either paused or canceled. At any given time, the University of Missouri system has about $1.5 billion in contracts and grants from the federal government. So it is a small percentage of our operation. Many of those projects that were canceled were in the last phases. We're working with the principal investigators and the departments to see how the university centrally can support them, whether it's graduate student support or faculty support. But we're able to manage it. We're doing much better in that regard than many other universities around the country.
Thank you. Let's go to our student journalists who have traveled from Columbia here. Missouri and KDIA. What would you like to ask?
I was just gonna ask, like, what was prioritized mainly when deciding where to make cuts, and how were those decisions made in the budget?
Well, whenever we make cuts at the university, we look at our three primary mission objectives. One is student success, second is research breakthroughs, and engagement with the state. So we ask the question of the leaders in central administration, as well as the deans and the department chairs, to identify projects that were worthwhile to do in the past, but given the budget challenge that we're going to face, how do they align to those three key mission objectives? And we don't like to cut programs because we believe everything that we do is important, but it's really time for us to prioritize. And just at Mizzou, we've had a $40 million reduction in expenses. And we did that in a very short time frame. And that's because we're able to really prioritize what is important for the university going forward.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Sure. In terms of the employee voluntary retirement plan,
Mhm.
Mr. Rapp said that a lot of employees have been consistently asking about it
That's right.
and interested. Do you have any sort of idea of how many people that would positively impact if they chose to do so?
We don't know yet. We're going to go through that process beginning in October. And when the staff members receive their personalized statement of where they stand and what they would get if they take that voluntary, accept into the voluntary program, that's when we will really know. At this point, there's interest, I believe, by many members of our staff that are seeing what's happening in the stock market, and they may want to make investments directly. So, but we won't know until later this year.
All right, let's go to our broadcast partners. Do you have a question?
So this is for Molly as well, but with the UMKC school, you mentioned specifically this is a template. What about this process specifically has made it such an easy transition to get this thing off the ground? And why do you think this kind of be something that people could reference for future projects, but for UMKC and just for other schools in the Missouri area?
Well, if I can start, well, the UMKC project serving rural Missouri comes about 6 or 7 years after we began a similar program in Springfield with the Springfield community with the School of Medicine. So the lessons that we learned in Springfield have now aided UMKC in developing this campus here. And based on what they've learned, because now they're doing a 4-year program, we're also interested in developing a 4-year program in Springfield, Missouri. So we are learning from each other in this way. Molly?
So what made the collaboration special was, number one, a really willing and eager hospital, Mosaic Health System, that really stepped forward and helped us put the program together, gave us space in the hospital itself so that students could be there while the building was being built. And also then support from the state, Representative Brenda Shields helped, and a lot of people in the community have embraced our students. So some of our students I'm hearing are taken home for Thanksgiving dinners. So the community itself has wrapped its arms around this program. So that's just made everything from financing to the students feeling at home here, everything work. And if every community could do that, that would be awesome.
You know, if I could just add, this is an example. We're not the University of people who live in Columbia, Missouri. We're the University of Missouri, and we're bringing many, many programs and opportunities all across the state. And no one, as a native of this area, I appreciate it, no one's benefited more than Northwest Missouri, but certainly other areas have benefited a great deal as well.
All right. How about you?
Yeah. How does higher education continue to evolve, and how do you attract students to still go to college?
Great question. We have to demonstrate the value that we provide each and every day to inform students and their parents that the students are going to get an excellent, high-quality education at an affordable price, and to be able to get jobs or go into professional and graduate school after they graduate, because that's what they're looking for. What is the outcome of that education? And so we tout the high graduation rates that we have, the low student default rate, and the high placement rates, and the fact that our students enjoy not only a rewarding experience while they are on campus for 4 years, but they also get to make the type of networks and connection that will help them in their careers. And so we need to highlight the positives and the fact that we are in the business of educating and that we are not indoctrinating our students. And the indoctrination component is one of the reasons why higher ed has a low perception among the public. But the University of Missouri, when we did a survey several years ago asking the question, are you better off with the University of Missouri, yes or no? Those who answered yes or no, 89% said yes. And it's through programs like what we just discussed, bringing our education, research, and engagement out into the communities from the university and doing a great job of educating students.
Well, and I think it's been successful. Over the last several years, most of our regional competitors or other universities have been down in enrollment. I believe we've been up 9% several years now.
We have been, and just compared to 2 years ago, applications at Mizzou is up by 26%. And that's an incredible growth over a 2-year period. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Have you question?
Yes. What would the decision to expand the amendment to the transfer for undergraduate admissions going from current 9 states to allowing all U.S. states? Is that something you guys have been considering for some time? And you hope that will open up new opportunities for those?
Well, we're always looking for new markets and for students to be able to consider the University of Missouri. As you know, we've had that GPA requirement for surrounding states, but we decided, let's make it nationwide because of the types of programs that we are offering. And Missouri right now is a place where we have to seek students from beyond our own borders because of the peak of high school graduates that we're going to see in the coming years. So we're just being very proactive.
All right. These gentlemen need to get to a closed session. We have time probably for a couple of other questions. So anyone, let's go to those.
Why don't we have them raise their hand if they want to ask a question?
Yeah, raise your hand.
Who would like to ask a question?
Online, on the phone, speak up.
Yes?
Yeah, I have a question also.
Go here.
What kind of impact would the capital projects, what kind of impact is the funding changes going to have on those?
Well, the project that was approved today, which is the Energy Innovation Center, the funding for that project is in hand through philanthropy, state support, and internal reallocations that were made several years ago. So we do not believe that that will be impacted. Now, the research that's going to be conducted in that facility may be impacted by the cuts in federal government, but we're expecting our faculty members to pivot so that they submit proposals in areas of high priority for the U.S. government.
So in the case of, I believe the target date was sometime 2026, is that still on plan or on track, I should say, and then when do you guys fully expect it to be up and running?
What is that? Which?
The School of Dentistry.
The School of Dentistry. Right now, we are seeking additional funds for capital renovations of that plan. Our plan is 2026, but that depends on when we can get the funding from the state and perhaps federal government and philanthropy.
Who else has a question?
Good.
All right, this concludes the public portion. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.